Silent Separation by Guman, Chapter 1.1 Reunion. Seeing him again was 7 years later in a crowded supermarket packed with weekend shoppers. Zhao Mosheng was pushing a shopping cart along and struggling to navigate in the crowd. She, who had just returned from abroad, was still not quite accustomed to such a crowd. However, such a vibrant and friendly scene made her unconsciously smile, virtually using a grateful mood to listen to the noisy local accent. She did not know whether other people who had just returned from abroad were just like her, excited and nervous. 7 years is such a long time. However, how come she had just returned from abroad but had already met him? No, to be precise, it should be them. Mosheng suddenly looked at the pairs of shadows standing in front of the vegetable stand, once again feeling a strange twist of fate. 7 years ago, it was them who made her decide to leave. Now they were here to buy things together, so ultimately they were also together. Fortunately, she ran away fast, otherwise she would probably hurt deeper. He Yichen and he Yimei. She was so silly then. Why did she think having similar names were surely brothers and sister? We are absolutely not brother and sister. Before, both of our families were very good neighbors. We all have the same surname He, so the adults just decided to choose similar names. Later, Yichen's father and mother had an accident, so our family adopted Yichen. Do you think you can compete and win over the 2 decades of deep affection between Yichen and me? Today, I want to tell you I love Yichen. I do not want to secretly love him. I want to compete openly with you. That year, when she was 19 years old, the day before Mosheng's birthday, her good friend He Yimei, who had always been quiet and introvert, suddenly courageously made this declaration to her. Yimei, who has always been gentle and non-competitive, would say something like that. She must have been extremely in love with Yichen. But what could she have used to compete with her? On the same day which Yimei declared war, she had already lost, and then she fled to the United States for 7 years. He Yichen. Unexpectedly, she recalled his ice-cold eyes on that day in heartless words. There was a trace of light throbbing pain in Mosheng's heart, almost impossible to sense. Nonetheless, it was there. They were walking towards her direction. The joint of Mosheng's fingers that were gripping the cart began to turn white. She almost wanted to turn around immediately. However, the supermarket was just too crowded, so she, who was pushing a shopping cart, simply could not turn around. In the next moment, she thought, why should she run away? She should calmly say to them, "Hi, long time no see," and then stroll away in an elegant and natural demeanor, leaving behind a beautiful silhouette. Moreover, they probably could not recognize her. She had changed a lot. The flowing long hair of yesteryear had already become neat and short, and her previously fair skin had become tan under the California sunshine. Wearing a loose t-shirt, jeans, and sports shoes, she looked very different from the past. They slowly, step by step, were getting closer, and then brushed past her. Not without a heartache, it seems like someone spoke. "Do you want to buy some milk?" Yimei asked in a soft voice. She did not hear the reply clearly. She really misses Yichen's deep and low voice. All these years in a foreign country, she could still hear it often, and every word echoed in her ears. Feeling a sense of loss, yet also with a sigh of relief, Mosheng lifted her downcast head and strolled forward. A bang sound could be heard as the shopping cart hit a pile of discounted soap shaped like a hill on the ground. The cryptic Zhao Mosheng innocently looked at hundreds of pieces of soap falling down as the scene was quite spectacular. She can pretend she did not do anything. Oh my God, this has already been the 3rd time today. The person who managed the stock in the supermarket appeared out of the blue and complained in the ground. 'Tis she should not be blamed for this, as why would they put goods in the middle of the path? Mosheng quietly complained and tried hard to look regretful. The movement here attracted the attention of the people around them, including Yimei. She inadvertently looked to that particular noisy place and then dumbfounded. It is her. It is actually her. Yimei almost could not believe her eyes. She has come back? Yimei? Yichen was puzzled by her reaction, asked out loud, and followed her line of vision. The tall and lifted body monumentally stiffened. Zhao Mosheng. That innocent-looking small woman who had her head dripping like a guilty child is exactly Zhao Mosheng. Her face looked 100% apologetic, but her eyes without doubt sparkled with a mischievous smiling expression. Being far away, in fact, he could not truly see her face, but Yichen knew it was her. He has always known she has always been like this, with a habit to disturb a pond of spring water and then leave without taking any responsibility. Willful, selfish, and hateful. Exactly 7 years, she still knew the way home. Yichen dropped his eyes. Yimei, let's go. Yimei was surprised to see a calm Yichen. Don't you want to say hello? Maybe she has not been a part of my life a long time ago. His tone was empty, as if it was really nothing. Yimei looked at his expression carefully, but could not find any clues. Finally, she had no alternative but to give a sigh. Come on. When she had her last glance at Zhao Mosheng, she found that she also just happened to move her head and saw her. Their line of vision collided in the air. Mosheng seemed stunned for a moment, and then a faint smile emerged on her face, and she greeted her by nodding her head. Yimei hurriedly turned around and called out, Yichen. Yes? Yimei was shocked until coming to a halt. When she once again looked back at the moving crowd, she could no longer see her figure. What? No, nothing. Yimei lowered her head, but she clearly saw them. Yet why she so easily went away like that, whereas Yichen also clearly saw her. She did not expect to return here one day. During the interview, the editor-in-chief asked her, Miss Zhao, why did you choose to work in A City? Suddenly, Mosheng did not know how to answer. Why? Because she studied for more than a year at the university here? Because she met him here? Because she suffered some hardship here? At the beginning, she also did not know. Before coming back, the first place she thought of was here. Until she met him that day, she only came to understand that she wanted to see him. Although he no longer belonged to her, she just wanted to see him. It was only to see him. It's probably because I cannot go home, Mosheng said. The editor-in-chief looked at her strangely for a long time and hired her as a photographer journalist for a certain woman's magazine. However, the editor-in-chief's excessive attention to her work experience in the magazine publisher abroad made her uneasy. It is just a little magazine publisher, Mosheng said to the editor-in-chief. Hey, Ashen. The female editor-in-chief, who was in her 40s, affectionately called her name. Are you praising my knowledge? That I even know so well about an unremarkable small magazine publisher in the U.S.? Mosheng started to laugh, and her anxiety disappeared. The editor-in-chief said sternly, Ashin, I know the great difficulty Chinese people who are in photojournalists in the United States face. You have to be better than the white people. They always think we Chinese people have no artistic talent. Like this, she settled down. She still went to that supermarket to shop, but has never encountered them again. Until one time, the security guard in the supermarket stopped her. Miss, would you follow me to the security room? Mosheng looked distracted and intuitively felt this could not be good. There were too many incidents regarding security guards in supermarkets forcefully conducting body searches and even beat-up people being reported in the newspaper. Mosheng stared at him cautiously, so the security guard helplessly said, Miss, I mean you no harm. I just wanted to ask if you have lost something a month ago. She had just returned to the country a month ago, so how could it be that she lost something, but did not know? Out of curiosity, she went with him to the security room. The security guard handed her a black wallet. Mushan did not need to look inside to know it was not hers, so she smilingly shook her head and said to him, "You made a mistake. This is not mine." The security guard was unexpectedly stubborn. "You open it and take a look." She took it and opened it, and then she saw her own photograph. The security guard said with satisfaction, "Miss, this is your photo, right? Although it is very different compared to now, I can still recognize you instantly." The difference was really big because the photo was taken when she had just entered the university. Her hair was still long and tied into a ponytail, and her smile looked silly. How could it appear in an unfamiliar wallet? Mushan gave the wallet back to the security guard. "It really isn't mine." The security guard was stubborn. "Aren't you the person in the photo?" "Yes, I am, but the photo is not mine." "Then it must belong to someone who knows you. Miss, maybe the owner of the wallet has a crush on you." "Hey, who says that Chinese people do not have a vivid imagination?" "But you take it. Take it since all this time nobody has come to claim it. It is also rather difficult for us to deal with it. It will be confiscated if we hand it over to our superior, so you might as well have it. There is definitely some association between you and the owner of the wallet. Maybe I've contributed to the beginning of a marriage match." With such imagination, the security guard must like to watch drama series. A month ago was also the same time she ran into Yichen and Yimei. Could it be that he lost it? With this laughable speculation, Mushan took the wallet home. At night, after bathing, she carefully studied the wallet in bed. With the simple design, luxury brand, and a little cash, it was not possible to determine the identity of the owner. Mushan carefully took out the photo. There were traces of steel mark on it, so it must have been torn from a document. When she inadvertently turned it over, she was suddenly startled by the words behind the photo. She could never forget that elegant and sharp handwriting. It was Yichen's handwriting, written in black fountain pen. "My sunshine." The complex urban life could also be lived in a very simple way. Only work, eat, drink, and sleep, nothing else. After a hectic period of adaptation, the following days become just numbing repetition. "Ashin, I have been looking for you everywhere." Mushan had just entered the magazine publisher office and heard someone shouting from a distance. "Obai, what's the matter?" Obai was actually very young and was the magazine's publisher's other photojournalist. His surname was Lee, but because he always mispronounced it, so everyone jokingly called him Obai. He was very good at coaxing celebrities, so he was responsible for the magazine's cover shots. "My wife is about to give birth. Can you help me to take care of the photograph session with supermodel Xiao Xiao tomorrow?" "Xiao Xiao?" Mushan found it a little difficult. "I don't have any problem, but I heard Xiao Xiao's temperament is weird. If you are not an acquaintance, she will probably not cooperate." Obai also thought of this and said, "Well, you go and try first. If you really cannot, then call me." The next day, when Mushan met the cool, elegant, glamorous, and impressive Xiao Xiao, she was completely stunned. She was not familiar with the celebrities in the country and had never seen the photo of Xiao Xiao before, so she did not know who she was actually. She did look so much like a good friend in her university days. However, her friend was such a simple and clumsy country girl, but the person in front of her had her long legs crossed and her smoking gesture was so skillful and seductive. Mushan did not dare to acknowledge her. Maybe they just look alike. However, supermodel Xiao Xiao squinted at Mushan, then walked elegantly towards her and stopped in front of her. "Hey, do you not recognize me?" "Xiao Mei?" She chuckled sarcastically. "If it is not me, then who could it be?" "Ashin, you and Xiao Xiao know each other? This is really good." The colleague who came together with her chimed in excitedly. "When I was a first-year university student, she slept in the upper bed and I was at the lower bed." In university, bunk-bed mates are the closest friend. Xiao Xiao's agent also joined in the conversation. "Am I supposed to be photographed?" "Quickly shoot," Xiao Xiao impatiently said. She had really changed a lot. While taking photo, Mushan also thought the person under the lens was no longer the cute and clumsy Xiaomei. Then who could she be? Perhaps nobody. A good photographer can capture the soul of the people under the lens. However, Mushan could not capture Xiaoxiao's soul. Maybe her skills was lacking or the person under the lens did not have one. Xiaoxiao felt very empty, a kind of emptiness which made people powerless and desperate. Perhaps it was this kind of emptiness that propelled her to rise rapidly in popularity. After shooting a session, Xiaoxiao waved her hand. "We will stop here today." "But Xiaoxiao, there's more," her agent eagerly said. "Stop here."